We already use these smartphones for pretty much everything, and now with this little device right here, you can turn your iPhone or even iPad into a high quality video monitor for filmmaking. Hey folks, Cam here helping you to make good videos, and today we're looking at the SeeMo that Accsoon sent me to try out. And in the video, I'm going to give you an overview of the product with all that comes with it, show you the video monitoring functions you'll get with it, the screen recording capabilities, live streaming capabilities, and finally a few things that I dislike that could be improved. So let me know down in the comments what type of camera you have right now to see if it is compatible with this device. And speaking of compatibility, this device is made for iPhones and iPads only, so if you're using a different type of smartphone or tablet, it will not work for you. But if you're just using an iPhone, then this SeeMo kit for $179 is all you need to start using your phone as a video monitor with your camera. And you can also use this with an iPad, but if you're wanting to get a cage that is designed to hold your iPad as well as a SeeMo on it and you can mount it to your camera, then you'll need to get the appropriate iPad cage, which can range from $129 to $169 depending on the type of iPad you have. And I have Amazon and B&H links to all of these products in the description, which won't cost you any extra, but it will greatly help out the channel. With the SeeMo kit, you get the SeeMo device, a cold shoe adapter, and two cables, one with USB-C for iPads and another one with a lightning connector for iPhones or older iPads. And you'll need an HDMI cable to hook your camera up to the SeeMo, which is not included because it'll depend on whether your camera uses a full-size or micro HDMI connection. You'll also need an NPF series battery to power the SeeMo, and I only have the 970 batteries, which are the biggest ones, but that can be problematic because it limits the tilting range of motion of the SeeMo. I ordered some of the smaller 550 batteries to alleviate that problem, but be aware of that if you only have the larger batteries. And you also have a USB-C out for powering other devices from the SeeMo, along with a power level indicator on the opposite side of the device. But once you have everything you need, connect the SeeMo to the cold shoe mount and secure it to your camera. Run an HDMI cable from your camera to the SeeMo and a lightning cable from the SeeMo to your iPhone. There's also a cold shoe mount on the top of the SeeMo so you can mount your microphone as well. Install the battery, power up the device, open the Accsoon app on your phone, and you are ready to go. And if you're wanting to use an iPad with the iPad cage, simply remove the SeeMo from the phone mount and attach it to the back of the iPad cage. Attach the cold shoe mount from the SeeMo to the iPad cage and run your HDMI cable to the SeeMo and then the USB-C or lightning cable to your iPad depending on the type that you have. You can still mount a microphone on top of the iPad cage, but it is a bit of a stretch depending on what type of cable you have. Once you're set up, you can click this icon on the bottom right to choose which functions you want readily available to you on the top of the screen. When a setting is blue, it means it's added to the top function menu for quick access, and white means you've deselected it from that top menu. With the settings icon on the top right, you can then customize the settings of whichever functions you included in that top menu. For things like the histogram, waveform, and audio monitor, you can change where on the screen it displays, as well as the opacity of those displays. On the waveform and histogram, you can choose among multiple display options of luma and color, as well as the size of the display. For focusing, you can change the peaking, color, and level. However, if your camera has touch autofocus functions, you can still only use the camera screen to operate that touch autofocus. What I like to do for focus pulls is to use the touch autofocus feature on my camera's touch screen and then use the peaking controls on my larger iPhone or iPad screen to confirm that what I'm expecting to be in focus is in fact what is in focus. With the LUTs, you can choose from a lot of options from C-Log, Red, ARRI, GoPro, S-Log, D-Log, Panasonic, and more. And in case you don't know what LUTs are, that stands for lookup table, which is an overlay that helps you get a better picture for exposure and white balance while filming to give you an idea of what the image could look like in editing rather than just looking at a washed out image on your screen while recording. And of course, having the rule of thirds grid is very useful for framing. And if you're not aware of what the rule of thirds is, then check out some of my other videos I have explaining what it is and how to use it to improve your framing in your films. Another really nice feature is the multitude of aspect ratio overlays to choose from. Whether you're wanting a 21:9, 4:3, or 16:9 image, or pretty much anything in between, you have those options available to help you in framing your shots based on the aspect ratio you'll be using in post. You can also add safety markers as well as change the marker width and opacity. And the last feature I'm going to cover in the settings is the distort mode. This allows you to de-squeeze your image to the proper amount when using an anamorphic lens so that things look normal on your monitor to help with framing everything properly without a distorted image from that lens. So out of all those options, you can see you have a lot of professional video monitoring tools, so let me know down in the comments which of these things you think would be most useful for you in your filmmaking. And if you look to the right of the screen, there's an iOS recording record button, which allows you to record the HDMI input from the camera directly into your phone or iPad. And this feature is pretty awesome because it allows you to get high quality imagery straight to your phone without the need to export to a computer and then move it to your phone. And among the many applications of this feature, I could see it being really useful for video tests that you can quickly send to someone else during the planning stages of a shoot. Speaking of video shoots, I really wish I had this gear when I was filming my last short film, Bedtime, because I only had the a7 III at the time, which doesn't have a fully articulating screen, and that meant I had to do a lot of setting up, record a clip, then go back and check to see if the framing was right because I was in a lot of the scenes. Being able to sit in one place while seeing myself on a huge iPad screen to make quick adjustments would have saved us so much time, especially for the scenes that we were doing with 3 and 4-year-old kids. Of course, using an iPad isn't always going to be practical, especially for moving shots, but using that iPhone mount still would have been really useful to give me a much better picture of everything while I was recording behind the camera and making sure everything was in focus, because I definitely did not want to end up with a great acting scene with the kids just to find out that we had to reshoot it because of an out of focus shot. And I don't see myself using it for something like vlogging because it'd be a bit too heavy for sustained arm's length shots. And to me, this gear is more suited for a planned filmmaking shoot or maybe like shooting a wedding or some other type of live event. But it's also useful for making YouTube videos, especially if your camera doesn't have a fully articulating screen, or even for live streaming. And speaking of live streaming, underneath the iOS record button, there's also a live button, which enables the live streaming function to YouTube, Facebook, or other streaming platforms. When you push the settings icon on the bottom right of the screen, you can change the video bitrate for output when live streaming. I tried out multiple bit rates when I live streamed because YouTube kept giving me alerts that my bit rate was either too high or too low, and between 10 and 15 megabits per second usually worked out pretty well for the connection to YouTube. I really like the concept of being able to live stream from my camera without it being hooked up to my computer, because then I can be much more mobile. However, the live streaming functionality of the SeeMo is the first main complaint I have about the product. Even with getting an optimal bitrate set for streaming, the video output to the live stream looked glitchy. And that's really the best term I can think of, because it's not choppy enough to where you can't tell what's going on in the video, but it just doesn't look quite right. I tried everything I could think of, from shooting at 4K on my camera, 1080p, using the cellular, using the Wi-Fi on my phone and on my iPad, but nothing seemed to fix the issue. And all resulted in the same glitchy looking video. I talked to Accsoon about it and they told me it's something they should be able to fix in the future firmware update. So I'll keep a lookout and make another video when, or if it gets fixed, and produces live video that's up to normal video standards. The other main downside to the SeeMo is that the iPhone cannot be charged while connected to the SeeMo device because of limitations with the Lightning port on iPhones. When fully charged, the iPhone does last for a long time when only using it as a monitor, so the only time I really see this being an issue is when live streaming, because of the extra work the phone is doing in sending the video to Facebook or YouTube. However, if you have a newer iPad with the USB-C connector, your iPad will receive power from the SeeMo and not have the same issue. So if you're wanting to use the SeeMo for live streaming, again, once it's improved with a firmware update, then using an iPad would definitely be the way to go so that you don't have to worry about battery life. But I've been wanting something like this for a really long time, so overall, I think this is a pretty awesome product that's well worth the price, even if you only use it as a video monitor and not the live streaming functions, which will hopefully be improved in the future. But it seems like people upgrade their iPhones like every year or two, which basically gives you a better professional video monitor because of the nicer screens on these things every time you upgrade your phone. Since all you have to do with the new phone is download the Accsoon app and you're good to go. But let me know down in the comments what you think of this device and if it's something you'd even be interested in. Again, I have links in the description which will help out the channel if you decide to purchase through that. Please hit that like button and don't forget to check out more videos, because I have a lot of videos on the channel to teach you filmmaking techniques that will help you improve your videos. So hopefully, I'll see you soon.